Welcome back to another episode of Across the Bifrost. This is Dr. Norbert coming to you from a freak cut in Belgium.
What's that? Oh, is that the chip thing?
It's a chippy. The Belgian version of a chippy.
Okay.
And I had one there. I was just in Belgium for a 3-day weekend at the Belgium Masters, and we went to a chippy on the Friday night, and it was delicious.
Nice. I just got back from sunny Stockport. I was there for an event this weekend with Darren. We were representing London,
Nice.
Surrounded by a bunch of Northerners up in Stockport. And it was really fun. And on the train up, I said, I'll be happy so long as I don't play against any Midnight Suns. And my first 3 games were against Midnight Suns.
Oh, wow. 3. Okay.
And Immortal Hulk, who is terrifying. He is now that Thor's out of the picture and Thanos has calmed down a bit. Hulk is my most feared model in the game. So yeah, that was a lot of fun.
You're back. You're not playing the Mimi Sentinels anymore, are you?
I took a break from Sentinels. I wanted to see if I still had. I actually was using our dojo episode on X-Men with Joe Manji. I wanted to use some of that advice and go and play and try and do my best. And I came 3rd, so I'll take that.
That's great. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. I was playing Iceman because Joe convinced me that Iceman isn't so bad. I played Domino. I wasn't really a fan of Domino, and now I am a big fan. And spoilers, I played one of our characters from today. I won't go into it yet, but
okay, great.
Yeah.
I won one of the events at the Belgium Masters, which was the Purity tournament. This is where
you won that? I didn't know you won that.
Yeah, I went 4-0, and I had somebody else did as well, but I had a better strength of schedule, so I won. Yeah.
Nice. Playing what?
Midnight Suns.
Nice. Oh, yeah. Cool. So Purity is in everyone's affiliated, right?
Correct. Affiliated or a rogue agent. Yeah.
Yeah. Who was your star player?
I don't know. They all have their little role to play.
Oh,
There's no favorites amongst the group.
So it's not the Hulk show then?
No. I don't always say often, but not always. No.
Okay. Did you take Elsa at any point? Elsa leadership?
Yes. As a matter of fact, the night before, we played just a normal challenger, and I had Midnight Suns, a more traditional Midnight Suns list, and had Elsa in there, and I played her leadership twice. And we'll leave it at that until we review her.
Ah, that's cool. All right. Yeah, I played against Elsa leadership for the first time, and I was like, that was a mistake. The Blade leadership's way better. And then suddenly I was covered in root. Every one of my characters was rooted. I was like, this is horrible. Nightcrawler with root is not good. So yeah, I had a lot of respect for Elsa there.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, we both had some busy weekends.
All right, so today we are going to start tackling the Monsters box that came out late last year. So we're getting very close to being caught up to all the releases, which is exciting. And it's a 4-character box, which is like the new way that AMG is doing stuff. And we're going to tackle Dracula first, and then we're also going to do Frankenstein's monster, leaving the other 2 characters for a subsequent episode.
Yeah, I'm excited. We've been putting this off a little bit because we wanted to play these characters a bit more before we reviewed them, and now we have.
Yep, and I did 2 tournaments with Dracula, as a matter of fact, with the Thralls of Dracula kind of thing, including the last one where we were at Bexley together. Yeah. So I can relate some of my experiences there. Okay?
Nice.
Yeah, cool. All right, so let's get into it and start tackling Dracula.
I need to do an origin story for Dracula? I don't think I do.
Well, is there a Marvel version, though? Like, is there something?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Marvel Dracula must be the same, right?
Maybe? I know.
Or shouldn't be like a mutant or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. He draws heavily from the historical figure Vlad the Impaler.
Okay.
So I think the same origin
MO.
story.
Okay. Yeah, that's Dracula, and his alias is Vlad Dracula. In case you were wondering, don't accept his invitation to come to the castle if you get one. He is affiliated with Thralls of Dracula, which we'll come on to, and also Cabal. And lastly, he is on a 50mm base, so the medium-sized base. Oh, I should have remembered. The Monsters box is called CP245. If people, want to carry along on Jarvis's protocol.
Number box, yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. I refuse to get interested in this code name. Stop it. I'm not going to reference. I'm not going to talk about that code name anymore. You keep bringing these up. No one cares.
But what's nice because on Jarvis is if you click that link and it shows you everything that comes in the box, including the cards and the tokens.
Yeah, that is nice, actually.
The tokens is pretty handy sometimes to know what tokens come in. Okay, so Dracula, as I said, is on a medium base, and he is a 5 threat. He's got defense stats of 4 physical, 3 energy, and 4 mystic. He has got 7 hit points on both sides of his card, and he's size 3, moving medium. And as I mentioned, he's a leader of the Thralls of Dracula type thing. So what do you think of this as a 5 threats leader-like character?
Pretty good, right? Yeah. I like the 3 energy defense because it's a nod to, doesn't like the sun. That makes me happy.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, you'd expect him to have a good mystic defense and a good physical defense based on his lore. Energy's not that bad. It could have been 2, but no. I guess for a 5 threat, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that he's size 3 on a medium base and double 7 hit points on each side. So
7/7, yeah.
7/7.
Nice.
That seems really chonky.
Yeah, that on its own is really chonky. And then, we'll get onto the healing part later, but that 7 health feels more like 14 health most of the time.
Yeah. And so for a 5 threat, I think it's perfectly reasonable what we're looking at here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, the sculpt itself is beautiful.
Yes.
If a bit fragile, you have to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, the bats are very fragile.
But man, the cleverness of the designers who fitted all the parts together, it's unreal. Yeah. That's how they figured that out.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the more satisfying boxes to glue together, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And the way the bats fit onto his left leg is really satisfying. That kind of plug that goes inside, very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's his greave, right? Part of his greave that goes on there, but then
it's absolutely seamless. It's great.
Yeah, so good. Okay, let's talk about his attacks then, shall we? He's got 3 of them. The first one is a physical attack called Ancestral.
Before we start, I'd like to go through these one at a time because each one of these has a lot to it, and I think it's worth doing.
Absolutely, because he's got some problems, but the attacks are not them.
Yeah, spoiler: his attacks are phenomenal.
So the first one's a builder. It's called Ancestral Blade. It uses the big blade he's holding on the sculpt. It's physical, as I mentioned. It is range 2, 7 dice, 0 cost, obviously. And it's got a hit trigger, which is a good trigger. After the attack is resolved, it's called Curse of Shadows. After this attack is resolved, the target character gains one of the following special conditions: bleed, slow, root, or hex. Like, wow, this is fantastic. A 7 dice builder. I mean, we were complaining about Thor 2 the other day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Thor was, the most recent menace. He was a 6 threat with a 7 dice builder. He had splash damage on the trigger, so there's a bit more damage coming out of that 7 dice, but he's now been pushed down to 6. And this doesn't have crazy triggers, but this is just a flat 7 dice. And we'll get onto it. He's going to be doing this attack quite a lot.
Yeah. Now, it's only range 2. So Thor 2's as well. So that is a bit of a problem that feeds into what we're going to allude to his problem is. But nonetheless, if you get into range, it is unreal. And all of those conditions are fantastic. I mean, only Incinerate's really off that list that you'd like to put on there.
Yeah. Bleed is great for his kit, which we'll get into. Hex is phenomenal. Root is incredible on the right people. And slow is also great, situationally. And it's on a hit trigger. So you're basically always getting it. I don't know what the percentage is, but it's very high. On the 7 dice, you're going to get it.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, the next attack is also physical. It's called Blood Feast. This is also range 2, only 6 dice. Costs you 1 though. This one is after this attack. It's got 2 abilities. Sorry. One is called After this attack is resolved, this character removes 1 damage from itself for each damage dealt. So sort of like a Venom type of attack. Mm-hmm. And after the attack is resolved, the target character gains the bleed special condition, so just auto bleed. And that again is going to feed into one of his abilities down the line.
Yeah.
So what do you make of this one? Now it costs you 1, you get less dice, but you get the auto bleed and possibly healing yourself.
Yeah, I thought that this would be the main part of his kit, but I found myself using this every now and then when I really need some healing.
Yeah.
But actually, I found I was using it more for the bleed.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to guarantee a bleed for the next attack.
Yep. Yeah, I do the same. Exactly the same. And I think that's why they lower the number of dice involved, because that's quite helpful to him.
Yeah.
Okay. But really, they're kind of interchangeable attacks. They just have slightly different kind of special effects that you want to choose between the 2 of them for whatever reason. Okay. Then we come on to his spender. It's Mystic, and it's called Fury of the Vampire. It is range 3. It's 8 dice, and it costs you 4. So expensive, but a spender. Normal for a spender, I suppose. It's got 2 abilities. If the target character has the bleed special condition, there it is. This character may reroll any number of attack dice. Now, that is exactly the same as Blade's Spender.
Mm.
And I should mention to people, it says reroll any number of attack dice. That means you can pick the ones you want to reroll, but it doesn't exclude skulls. It doesn't mention that skulls can be rerolled, and so those skulls can't skull. And that's the same for Blade, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, but reroll any is the best type of reroll.
Oh my god!
Because you leave the hits on the table, you pick up the misses, and then you roll again. So it's fantastic. This ends up being, more like a 11, 12 dice attack because of that. If they have bleed, because of that.
Yeah, you need the bleed on there first. And after the attack is resolved, if the target character is size 4 or less, then you can throw it away medium. So good.
So good. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
No trigger.
It's away, but it is guaranteed and it's size 4.
Yeah. It's an amazing spender.
Yeah. Won't be using it terribly much because of the cost mostly, and also the opportunity cost of making sure the bleed gets on there, but it's definitely something that will come up more than once.
Yeah, I found I was using this to end games. So his builder is so good, you're okay to just use that all the time. The Blood Feast on the healing is like good when you need it. And this spender, I found I was just using it to like guarantee someone was dead. And I basically always used it when they were already bleeding. Yeah. Because if they're not bleeding, you're paying 3 more power for just 2 more dice. So it's not worth it. I think you only use this when they're bleeding.
Unless you need the throw.
Oh, sorry. The throw is that's a good point.
And even though it's an expensive, I should say reasonably costed spender, he doesn't have that much trouble with generating power.
None.
Under the right conditions. So you're going to be able to do this when you need it, most likely. At least
with the 7 dice builder, he's absolutely fine.
Yeah. Okay. Coming on to superpowers. He's got one active one called Hypnotic Stare. It's 2 power. Choose an enemy character within 3. Advance the chosen character short. And it can only be used once per turn. This is essentially, what do you call it?
Bow.
A bow. Yeah, thank you. Is a bow. Range 3 is fantastic. Advancing it short is okay. I mean, it's normal, but only costs 2. This is great.
Yeah,
so good.
Is this where we start to allude to his problem? You think? Because this helps that.
Yes, I think we should. I mean, let's not bury the lead any longer. It's action economy is his issue. He doesn't have any way to get himself moved around. He does move medium, so that's really quite good. Yeah. But, he's a 5 threat. You want him to be doing stuff all the time. He's not throwing like terrain or anything like that. So this here is, if you have 2 power and your target's outside of 2, if it's within 3, which is pretty reasonable, you can move that character now into your range.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which is so thematic. Hypnotic Stare, you're drawing it, the character, you're confusing it, bringing him closer to you, and then you whack him with the ancestral blade.
Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, he does struggle with that. Any action spent on Dracula where he's moving, you should consider an action wasted. He kind of has that Magneto vibe about him. Magneto's builder is so good that he wants to be using that every turn twice. Yeah, so I think Dracula has a bit of that. I was playing him in X-Men at the weekend, so I had the Storm Hop to help him get him in position.
Exactly.
That came up every time. I was just constantly figuring out ways to give him that hop to allow him to get into position and attack twice. And I loved it. Every time he activated, he did so much work because of that. So yeah, I think you have to have a plan for how you're going to move Dracula into position and keep him in position.
Yeah. Bump could be another one for Midnight Suns. But there's other reasons why you may not want to take him because he's not affiliated with Midnight Suns. So that's a little tricky. But I think the hop is a bit even better. Or if you have some other kind of ability, like, again, Midnight Suns Man Thing can teleport him 3, which is be amazing. So stuff like that you have to think about. Okay. Then he's got 2 reactive superpowers. One is called Eternal Hunger. This costs 2 power. After an attack against his character is resolved, this is the money one. This is so good.
This is the money. This is why we bring Dracula.
You could use the superpower after the attack is resolved. If the attacker is within 3, which is great, this character may make an attack against the attacker. The superpower can only be once per turn. So basically, he gets to do 1 hit back to you. Now, what I found, and it's fantastic because his attacks are bonkers. They're just so good. And if you can do out of activation attack against your opponent, it is so good. when it's going to do work like this. Now, what I found to be the super tricky part about it is even though the attacker could be within 3, most of Dracula's stuff is range 2. Like, it's hard. You're hard pressed to pay 4 to do the clapback, plus the 2 for the superpower. That's 6 power to be able to attack somebody within 3. So that's a little rough. So it doesn't. A clever opponent can kind of play around this a little bit. So you have to be careful about that. But if he can't, and I find people just don't want to come in and attack him for the most part.
Yeah, people avoid that. If you can find ways of forcing that attack to happen, it's really good. I took Sacrifice at the weekend, and there was a few times where people were like, I think they actually said out loud, well, I'm not going to hit Dracula, so I'll hit the guy next to him. And I'm like, cool, well, I'm going to sacrifice it to Dracula. And now you're hitting Dracula, and he's going to hit you back.
Yep.
And we see this guy under Mephisto a lot as well because of that reason, because Mephisto has an ability, when you attack Mephisto, he just grabs Dracula and says, meet my associate, and you attack Dracula instead. So yeah, if you have ways to trick attacks into Dracula, it's really good.
Yep, totally get it. That makes sense. Okay, the last superpower is called, reactive one, is called Shapeshifting, which is really fun. Costs you 1 power. When this character begins a move action during its activation, it may use the superpower. If it does, you can choose one of the following effects to resolve before moving. You can turn into a bat. The bat gains flight superpower during the move action. Or you could turn into a wolf, and then your speed gets increased to the long move for that one move action. And and then Mist is you have to drop all your objective tokens and remove all your special conditions. That's handy against APOC players everywhere. And then you could also remove 2 damage from the character. Wow.
Yeah.
And still move. You're still moving the medium, but you just get all that stuff. The tricky part is, of course, you drop your tokens, but I mean, that's part of the deal.
Yeah, very cool. I think when we first saw this, people got a bit confused. This does have to happen when you make a move action. So he doesn't just get to move long for free. It is his action.
Right. But it's a great first turn move, right? I mean, first rush round, you pay 1, you move long, and now you're within range 2 of something to whack.
Exactly. It is the same distance as everyone's favorite fish-flavored friend, Namor.
Oh, yeah.
Who can, medium-based long move, get to the midline. So Dracula can do it as well.
Yeah. He won't safe grab because he doesn't get 2 power normally.
Yeah.
But,
so I was using this for hammers. I played on hammers quite a lot. And with X-Men, I could go and grab one side hammer, and pull them back to safety with Tamima X-Men. And then it meant my opponent would go get the other hammer, and I was just deploying Dracula opposite that hammer so that I could pay 1 straight away, move long, and then Dracula is now within 2 of the person that picked up that hammer, and he gets a free attack round 1. So it's really good for that. Deploy Dracula opposite someone that you think is going to end up on the midline, and he'll just go hit him.
Yeah. And he doesn't mind being up on the midline for the most part. And that brings us on to his passive superpower called Unholy Vampiric Immortality. At the end of this character's activation, it gains 1 power and removes 1 damage from itself for each other character within 3 of it that has the bleed special condition.
Very cool.
Goes back to all the different bleeds that you can put up there at the top of the card. It is essentially the same as Blade's ability, except Blade can only have characters bleeding within 2 of him, whereas this guy can have 3.
Because he's a proper vampire.
Yeah,
Blade's like half vampire, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, I found this was really nice, this ability, because you just kind of pump out some bleeds where you can with that trigger on Ancestral Blade, which is very likely to happen. And you just go, I've got a bit of damage on me, so I'll just give you bleed. And also remember that dazed characters, if you daze them with the attack, they still get bleed, and they will still have bleed for the sake of this ability. So it is worth, half the time when you're dazing people don't bother to put conditions on because it doesn't really matter. But this is the rare occasion it does matter. So make sure you put in bloods. Oh my god, bleeds. I'm tired. Make sure you put bleeds on the characters that are being dazed and measure for this ability.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Let's talk about his 1 card because it's his leadership card, and then we can maybe review the character altogether. What do you think? Yep.
Yeah, sounds good.
So he comes with 1 card in his box, which is called Thralls of Dracula. It's not really his card, but rather it's a leadership card. So this is one of those instances where your leadership takes up one of your 5 tactics cards. Okay. So, it's got some text on here, but basically, he's got one of these affiliations where you can take any character you like in it. So you take Dracula, you take his Thralls of Dracula leadership card, and then anything else that you want. And the leadership ability is called Bloodlust, and affiliation is named Thralls of Dracula officially. Here's how it works. Once per turn, during an allied character's activation, it may pay 1 power and choose an enemy character within 2. The chosen enemy character gains the bleed special condition. If the chosen character already has this bleed special condition, that allied character may remove 1 damage from itself instead.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's not flashy, but it comes in quite handy for 2 reasons. One is that it lets you heal, obviously, but also just, it means that the people are bleeding around you. If they're not already, this gives them the bleed.
Yeah.
And bleed is just is a bit of a nuisance, certainly mid to late game.
Yeah, for sure. And it means you can, obviously, you can take any character you want. So I've seen some really interesting roster building with this, where people will bring in characters you don't normally see, just because they give out bleed. So obviously, all the Wolverines come to mind. They will give out bleed, which is pretty great.
Yep.
Drax gets played because Drax likes a bit of bleed. And Scourge from Asgard, he gets some rerolls if the target is bleeding on his spender. So it's enabling all these really cool characters that you don't normally see. So yeah, what was your Dracula roster?
Yeah, so I'm just looking at it now. I actually threw a bunch of random stuff in there. I also need to credit my friend Jonah from the North, who gave me the kind of the basis of this roster, which then I tweaked a little bit. This was also before the new Crises that came out. But in any case, it was Abomination, Baron Zemo 1, Bullseye, Dracula himself, and then Drax, just like you mentioned, for the reason that you mentioned, Logan, Encantu, the Living Mummy, Ulik, Lizard, and Shang-Chi. So basically, mobile brawlers is what this was all about.
Yeah.
So, not tons of synergy with the bleed. Like I've done more synergy with, I tried to actually just do all bleeding type characters in there, and it wasn't working out as well for whatever reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you could give out bleed with the leadership. So it's also good, and it enables Dracula to be an absolute monster because, after round 2 or 3, everyone's going to have bleed. So Dracula could just go and do his spender on anyone and basically one-shot them. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and heal up too. So so I tried to do with everybody giving out bleeds of various types, but who I settled on was Drax. I think he's quite good. And
I like
fun.
seeing Drax on the table. I'm very happy that he has a home because not many Guardians players take him.
No. And so what we're referring to is he has Drax has a normal builder attack where if the target is bleeding, you can reroll 2 of the attack dice. That attack also gives out bleed on a wild, so that's quite handy. I think that's
what I liked about Drax was people were waiting for someone to be on the midline round 1, and then Drax would just move, stand next to them, and pay 1 so that they're bleeding now with the leadership, and then just stand there menacingly. So in round 2, he's like, "Well, you're still bleeding," and he hits you with 5 dice, re-rolling 2 twice, which is crazy for a little 3 threat. He's throwing 14 dice at you. It's really good.
Yep, and he's tanky enough to survive up there until he has his chance to activate. So it's all good.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. So my experiences playing with Dracula. First of all, he's super fun. 7 dice builders are quite a drug. Honestly.
You're not wrong.
He's shape-shifting. I don't tend to use it terribly much, but that's because I probably were using Crises that kind of help bunch people together, and he would just get into position and just start doing work.
Yeah.
So he didn't have a lot of need to run around a lot. But getting him in the right place is really tricky. So, figuring out how he's going to work within the scenarios that you choose is very crucial to making sure that you get the most value out of him.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like he might benefit from this new world of Crises that we have where there's no demons and gamma, because I think he's a brawler. I think you're right to take a team that's full of mobile brawlers and not necessarily like central line fights, because they can kind of fall over. Not Dracula himself, but the people around him. But and also Dracula's weakness, I think one of his weaknesses is if you just like downright kill him, because.
But you say that and you're right, but people never do. They
Well,
don't
they're
want to
scared of the clapback. They're scared of the attack, which is absolutely valid because that's his biggest strength as well, right? It's quite an interesting balance. That the way to take him down is just to take him down, pump him with energy outside of the range where he can attack you, and that'll do it. But yeah, he is quite scary to go into.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I wouldn't want to oversell him or the affiliation. I think it's definitely mid-range in terms of ability, power.
Yeah.
And it takes a little bit of work figuring it out. I suspect though, with a bit of time, because and the reason I say it takes some work to figure out is because he has access to every character, right?
Yeah.
But with enough people working it out, I think you'll be able to find some nice combination. The one thing that keeps that in check, the unlimited character choices, is he is 5 threat. So, he eats up quite a bit of your points when you're putting a team together.
Yeah. But then it's also nice because he is the centerpiece of that leadership. He's going to benefit more than anyone else from people having bleed.
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool. It's worth saying as well, this leadership is an absolute thematic win. I think it's brilliant. It's so well designed. And it's, people were probably scared at first because we just had Hellfire where everyone was affiliated. That's now been fixed. They now have affiliation lists, but everybody was affiliated. Which was a big thematic loss because anyone that knows the Hellfire Club is very VIP. It's very restrictive on who can go in, but suddenly in MCP everybody is a member of the Hellfire Club. Yeah. So that's now gone, and this has come in around the same time. But I think this is great. This is very thematic. It's thralls, right? He's just turned everyone into a vampire. Yeah, and they're all fighting for him now. So yeah, I think it's great. It feels really fun, and I have no problem really seeing anyone in here. Maybe besides robots. That doesn't make much sense.
That's right. That's a good point. Nobody really seems to fret about this open affiliation they did with Hellfire Club.
Yeah, well, the leadership's also quite fair, right? Yeah. Just chucking out bleeds is fine. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, this leadership will stay like this, and I think it's great. I think it's very fun and thematic, and I would actually play this at Halloween because it's quite fun and spooky.
Yeah. So definitely try it out. Again, key things is to try to figure out how you're going to move him around as best as you can, and also what crises that you're going to choose to make him work.
For sure.
Whole team work.
Where's he affiliated?
Just Cabal. He's also in Cabal.
Yeah.
So what is Cabal leadership? So we're talking about Red Skull 3, where he
just
gets
better,
free
better
crits.
attacks. Yeah.
We recall Red Skull 1 is not worth talking about. Who else is the leader in Cabal?
Shadowlands Daredevil. Dracula's making big attacks rather than lots of little attacks, so that leadership doesn't help too much. No, sorry, I'm talking criminals. Whoops.
Yeah, you're thinking criminals, dude.
Ignore
that. It's Sin, also not worth talking about, and then Malekith. Malekith. The problem with Malekith is he's already 7 threats. Now you're adding a 5 threat to that. That's a lot.
Yeah, you're going quite narrow, but that leadership does work for Dracula. A bit of movement.
Yeah. So Malekith's leadership is when this character or an allied one dazes or KOs an enemy character. Okay, that's what Dracula does. Choose another non-dazed allied character. After the attack is resolved, the chosen character may remove 1 damage, may gain 1 power, and may advance short. So, he would be enabling his allies to move short and gain power and things. So that's true, but it doesn't quite help him. So unless Malekith would have to daze or KO somebody, and then he can move Dracula.
Yeah, they can help each other, right? You can move Dracula into position, who can then daze someone to move Malekith into position. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that makes sense. If you're okay with playing super narrow, right? Because it's a 7 threat plus a 5 threat, that's 12, and then just a 4 threat to hit 16. Yeah, you're playing 3 wide. But hey, 3 wide is what all the cool kids do when they want to kill stuff. So
yeah, but Red Skull 3, you get the affiliation, the leadership ability. You get crits out of skulls, but more importantly, you get his Nothing is Beyond My Reach, which is 4 power, expensive, but you could choose him or another character, so vampire or Dracula rather, within 2 of him, and place that character within 3 of its current position. That is really helpful.
Yeah,
for Dracula.
That is very cool.
So,
bit of movement. Basically, the shortcut here is any leadership that gives Dracula some movement is good. Yeah. I played him on the Storm X-Men, and it was great. Loved it.
How about Sam Wilson Avengers?
Sam Wilson Avengers, yeah, that makes sense. Give him a little nudge.
Yeah, just a bunch of weenies and Sam and him.
Yeah. On theme with kind of creepy monsters that have come out recently, Man-Thing can teleport people around.
Yeah.
So Man-Thing and Dracula on a little flank could be pretty great together. And Man-Thing gives out Incinerate, which Dracula doesn't. So You could maybe get all the conditions off. But yeah, so I think Dracula's very, very, very strong. He won me 2 games this weekend, basically single-handedly. I just gave him the storm hop and let him go to town. So yeah, he's amazing.
Cool. All right, let us move on to the second character for today's episode, which is Frankenstein's monster, and I think his alias is hilarious. It's called Adam.
Adam.
He's Adam.
Why is that? Why do you know that?
Well, because I don't know why, but I mean, for me, it's he's like the first human, right, Adam?
Yeah.
And so, he's been built together, kind of Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein put this guy together and called him Adam. Like it's his, he's God and he's made his, first character human.
I hope that everyone that plays this, whenever someone says like, I'm going to attack Frankenstein, I hope you go, actually, it's Frankenstein's monster. Every time.
Yep. Okay. So Adam is on a medium base as well, 50 millimeters. He is strictly affiliated with Midnight Suns. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. His stats are, he's a 4 threat. His stats are 4 physical, 3 energy, and 3 mystic. He's got 7 hit points on his healthy side and 7 on the back side. He is size 3 and he's a medium mover. So, practically the same stats as Dracula, as a matter of fact, for 1 less threat and 1 less mystic defense.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
for a 4 threat, for 1 threat less.
Yeah, same stats. So it seems good so far, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for a 4th threat, I think that's amazing. Actually, it's great
stats.
I think his defense stats are what you'd expect from a 4th threat, but the amount of hit points is quite good.
Yeah, very good.
And a medium base, medium mover is fantastic. All I think about, the quintessential one like that is always going to be Beast. And all the fun stuff you can do on Crises with Beast, you can do with this guy as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And theoretically, we'll come on to it, but he should be tankier than Beast. Or maybe not. Beast is deceptively tanky because of his rerolls.
Yeah, I'd compare Frankenstein more to Lizard.
Yep, okay. I can see that.
Medium base, kind of tanky guy. His job is to not die, basically.
Yeah. So I used him. Spoilers, I used him over the weekend in my Midnight Suns list in the Purity one, as a matter of fact, because I had to choose only affiliated characters. So I have some experience with this guy.
Were you happy with him?
Well, we're going to come on to that. Let's it's just a tease, and then we're going to get first a few vegetables, and then we'll get to the dessert. Okay?
Yeah, fair enough. All right.
Here we go. 3 attacks. All of them are physical. The first one is called Frank's Fists.
Nice.
I feel like that should be a hot dog stand. Frank's Fist.
Also, who's Frank? They were some dude's hands that they dug up and they gave them to him.
Yeah, that's it. And
well,
he's made of parts. So Frank donated the fists.
Yeah.
It is range 2, 6 dice, 0 cost. After the attack is resolved, it gains 1 power. So it's a gainer. He's got 1 trigger on it called Push. It's a wild hit trigger, which is a bit hard to do. And after the attack is resolved, the target is character size 4 or less, which is nice. It can push the target character short, any direction. So, I mean, look, it's range 2 is the issue. 6, it's very fair. Range 2, 6 dice seems very fair for 4 threat. The trigger, you're not going to worry about too terribly much. When it happens, it's going to be great. And it's a gainer, so that's something of interest. Guaranteed power is always good. On the other hand, he's not getting more than 1.
Yeah, and all of his superpowers are 2 and 3 costs, so that's nice for gainers because you can kind of, you can predict what's going to happen. You're like, I need to do that thing, so I'll do 2 gainers and I have the power for that thing.
Yep, that's true. Okay, next one is a really interesting super attack, which I love. It's called Thick Skull. Thick Skull. It is also range 2. It's only 5 dice, costs you 1 power, but after the attack is resolved, if damage was dealt, which is a little tricky with 5 dice, the target character gains the stagger special condition, which is super nice.
Pretty cool. I love the theme of this as well. Like all this fancy stuff's going on around him. All these superheroes are going around throwing buildings, and he just headbutts a dude and staggers him. It's so good.
Yeah.
So this really highlights the absolute ridiculous strength of Black Cat. Black Cat is a threat less, and her range on Troublemaker is 1 more. And it's auto stagger, even if it doesn't deal damage. It's crazy. And this has to deal damage. It's range 2. It's 5 dice. Like you're going to pay. And it's a 4th threat. You're going to pay for this and just not give out stagger sometimes. So it's so sad. Black Cat needs to calm down so that Frankenstein's monster can thrive.
What's the cost of her attack?
2.
That one. Costs 2. Okay, so
So you pay 1 extra to guarantee it. I think Frankenstein's monster would happily do that.
Yep, agreed.
Anyway, I'll stop. I'll get off my high horse.
So yeah, it can be a good attack, but it's a little tricky to pull off. So don't, you have to keep that in mind. All right, the last attack is his spender. It's called the Monster's Fury. Range 2, 6 dice. Well, that doesn't sound so good. 6 dice for 4 power. 4 power. But you can add dice to the attack roll equal to the amount of damage this character has, which is nice. Theoretically, that could be 6 more dice. So that's 12 dice that he'd be throwing.
Yeah.
Which is bonkers.
It's not bad.
Mm-hmm. And he wants to be hit, so, you'd assume he'd have some damage on him. He's got 1 trigger on this attack, which is a crit wild named Hurl. After the attack is resolved, if the target character is size 4 or less, throw the target character medium. Any direction, medium. Fantastic throw. Bit hard to pull off with the crit wild trigger.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a bit stingy on the old triggers for Adam.
Yeah.
Like, it's a wild hit or a crit wild. There's pretty tight triggers. You're just not going to get those sometimes. It's a real shame.
And keep in mind, all 3 attacks that I just talked about, all of them are range 2, which is a real problem.
Yeah. Until...
Okay. He's got his first active superpower called Charge. Costs you 2 power. It costs an action, but basically you make a move action followed by an attack action. You can use any one of his... Yeah, it's just normal charge. You could use any attacks, though. It's not limited to a certain type of attack, and it can only be used once per turn.
Yeah. So that
helps a lot. That helps a lot. But getting the power is deceptively problematic for him. He basically is going to... The main source of his power is coming from getting hit. And so that means it's up to your opponent to decide whether he wants to hit him and give him power as a result. And so you're kind of being dictated to as how you're going to use him. And I found that to be absolutely 100% true.
Really?
Yep. I have to say, so we haven't finished his cards yet, but I wasn't terribly impressed with him. I used him at least twice in the 4 games that I played with Midnight Suns in the Purity.
Yeah.
And I really had to make him work. I had to force kind of situations to work. And the most of it was, one time I did manage to pull off the beast move where he ran to the back and sat on a point. He dived. He dived for a point.
Yeah.
And he was helpful then, but man, the inability to get power as much as you would like and the range 2 attacks was a real problem.
Yeah. Okay. So when you say die for a point, you mean round 1, like go and grab an extract?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Or sit on the back point, either one.
Yeah, sure. So it's it's kind of the lizard job, right?
Yeah, lizard or beast, either one of those guys.
Lizard or beast, both 3 threats.
Yeah.
I've played Frankenstein in X-Men in a spot that I would usually take lizard. I did it in a team tournament, so someone else had lizard, and I took Frankenstein for that. It was fine. Yeah, I did the same thing. I dived a back point, he grabbed the thing, and then he survived. That was kind of it. But it's like, I could be doing this with a 3 threat. Could be doing this with a lizard,
Yeah. Exactly. And then Lizard has a range 3 attack with a push on it. Easy push. So, he gets to do stuff when he shows up here. Whereas this guy, if you're outside of range 2, he's just kind of sad.
Yeah. And then when you're in range 2, you still need a hit wild. It's a stingy trigger.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going. He's got 2 other superpowers. The second one is called Frank's Rampage. It is 3 power. Choose an choose a terrain piece of size 4 or less within 2 and throw it medium, which is good. Could only be used once per turn. And lastly, and this is the controversial one, and this is where I'm going to go into some of my experience with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Replacement Parts. It is power 2. You get to remove 2 damage from the character. You only use it once per turn. Okay, and then lastly, he's got a passive superpower where he's immune to shock, which is nice, but fine.
That's cute.
Okay. Yeah, it's cute. It's fine. Now, look, this is the problem. Okay, here's a guy who wants to get hit to get power, right? We've established that. And the problem is he doesn't have damage reduction. He doesn't have healing factor. He's got this thing, remove 2 damage from the character.
Yeah.
It's rough because it's only going to happen then when he's active. Okay, that's the first thing. And secondly, it costs 2, which is quite a bit for him.
Yeah.
To remove 2.
And it's interesting that it's 2 because you said that his main source of getting power is by being hit.
Yeah.
So if he gets hit, takes 2 damage, he's getting 2 power for that, but you're then going to spend that power to heal it.
Yes.
So he doesn't have any power left over to do anything with, right?
Yeah. Now, I mean, you could do Monstrous Fury where he's going to roll dice equal to the amount of damage he has, right?
Yeah.
But that costs you 4.
Yeah.
And Monster Fury doesn't give you power.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can do Monster Fury to take all the advantage of being damaged and then heal
And
up.
heal. Yeah.
You know?
So a lot of
Obviously,
the time, it's you're choosing between the two. You're spending all your healing.
100%.
Yeah.
That's exactly what was happening.
Yeah. Well, my experience of him in X-Men was, like I say, jump to back point, grabbed an extract, and then just spent the rest of the game running away and healing, which was fine. He did that job well. I thought, he can hold on to an extract. He's hard to take down, especially when he's healing. I basically never attacked with him. But again, you're paying 4 threat for that. It's quite steep.
Yep.
And there's a lot of 3 threats that could do the same job, almost as effectively for 3 threat. So, it's a bit rough. This character does sort of scream. He's got damage reduction, just the way he looks and the way everything else feels.
I was surprised when I pulled the card out and I was actually playing him properly on the Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm like, no damage reduction. That's very strange.
Yeah, it does feel odd. But he's cool. He's one of your kind of meat and potatoes characters, right? Like, he's there for a job. He's just a sort of tanky boy. You're not really taking him for any other reason. The stagger's nice, but it's not. You can't predict it, so you don't. Just a Black Cat if you need guaranteed staggers. So he's suffering by being in the 4 threat category, I think.
Yeah. And only affiliated to Midnight Suns.
Yes.
Where bump is helpful. Okay, so that's cool.
Yeah. But then doesn't the bump mess up his power economy?
Yeah, exactly does.
Because it costs 1. Yeah. And this guy's power economy is very tight because he's just got gainers.
He gets siege, like he'd be part of the Siege of Darkness sequence. Yeah. But again, he's got to pay 2 for siege, which he may not have.
So he's losing power because he'll then do a gainer, I assume. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's really awkward. That's really awkward.
It's awkward. That's a great word. He's awkward.
That's a shame.
None of it is terribly bad. In any case, it just doesn't fit together terribly well.
Yeah. He's just, he's solid. He's not very exciting. His job is to survive, I think. And again, if you do that lizard job with him where you dive a back point, I think you'll be fine. And that's okay. I can see him coming up in a Purity event and being all right. I feel like the way you played him in your Purity event, was good.
Totally.
And clearly it worked. You went 4-0. So
yeah.
But he's not terribly exciting.
In that too. So that was cool.
Yeah. Nice.
Let's see if the one card that comes with him helps matters out. What do you say? Yeah. Okay. It's called Hideous Monster. It's unaffiliated and reactive. So wherever he goes, he could take this card. And basically, it's Heroes for Hire. Okay. When an enemy character that targets another allied character within 3 of an allied Frank's monster, the allied character spends 2 power to play the card. So that's exactly the same as Heroes for Hire. Then you place the Frankenstein within 1 of the allied character that's also the same, and it becomes the target of the attack, regardless of range and line of sight. Now, here's the difference. So this is the payoff. So after the attack is resolved, if Frankenstein is not dazed or KO'd, roll dice equal to the number of damage he has. The enemy character suffers 1 damage for each crit and wild rolled. If the enemy character suffers damage in this way, push it short towards Frankenstein's monster. So it's the Heroes for Hire body card kind of situation. He doesn't pay for that card to happen, so that's helpful, right? Because he doesn't have power.
Yeah.
The weird part is that he needs to suffer damage for the effect to actually have any. Well, of course, the effect is he soaks up the attack, so that's always helpful. But the clapback part of it only depends on whether he suffers damage for it, or he has damage on him, which is weird because, like, let's say if he has some damage on him, then the attack that he's taking from this might actually daze him or KO him. So then he doesn't get to do the fun part, which kind of sucks. On the other hand, he doesn't have a lot of damage, and he is quite tanky. If he doesn't take very much, then this clapback doesn't do very much back. And it requires them to suffer damage for them to be pushed towards him, which could be helpful because then, they might be within range 2 of him, and then he could do some, hopefully activate later and do stuff to them.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't take any damage, that doesn't happen.
Yeah. I think the same word sums up this card, as I said before, awkward. It's very awkward in places. I mean, if you just look at the top half, let's cut it in half. If you just look at the top half, it's Heroes for Hire, right?
Yeah.
And we said that he's quite durable, and maybe his job is just to survive. And I quite like the idea that Frankenstein takes an attack rather than someone more fragile. So it's a cool bodyguard card, and they have to pay for it, not him. He'll get damaged, hopefully, so he'll get some power. That's pretty cool. The clapback is whatever. Who cares? All of these kind of Heroes for Hire, Prince's Protection-esque cards have like another effect to make it more thematic. So it's cool. Frankenstein's got a cool one. It's fine. It's whatever. You're going to do maybe 1 or 2, 3 damage afterwards. Push towards Frankenstein. That's interesting. It feels awkward again because you're right. Frankenstein's monster does want them within 2 of him. So that's nice. But if you're bodyguarding someone, you probably don't want the person closer to that person that you're bodyguarding, which this is what it doesn't say is you're also pushing them short towards the person you just helped. So it's like, I got you, and you sort of pulling them in closer to the guy you're helping. So it's all very awkward. But at the end of the day, it is a Heroes for Hire, bodyguard card, which is very good. One of the best effects you get on a card. So.
I totally took it every time I took Frankenstein's monster. So I would definitely still take it. As you said, Jamie, at least for the just taking the attack, if nothing else.
It is worth it for that. The secondary effect is whatever. Don't worry about it. You're there to. This is like sacrifice. This is another sacrifice. And
that's a good way of looking at it.
Those kinds of games, those kind of guards could win games. So
Oh, the art I'm just looking at is really fun. It's Frankenstein really like losing his mind because he's being attacked by 5 different demon type people.
I think they're thralls. They're the Dracula
they must be thralls. But they look like little demons, and poor guy is not having a good time.
No, holding his chain.
So sculpt, it looks amazing. I really enjoy the sculpt, and I painted it up really well actually. And I actually entered it in the painting competition in Belgium.
Oh, cool.
I'm not sure who won, to be honest with you, because we left and they hadn't mentioned, but I assume it wasn't me.
You would have heard by now. It probably wasn't.
I would have heard by now. But okay, cool. So all in all, Dracula, really fun. Put a little bit of work in him, and you may have a good time.
Yeah.
Monster, Frankenstein's monster. I wouldn't personally use him in Midnight Suns. He's okay, but you have a lot of splashes that are probably better than him. Is my thing. But he could still work with them.
Yeah. I could see him in Spider Foes under Dr. Octopus.
Why is that?
Because they have that thing where when you get attacked, you gain 1 extra power. So suddenly his job of like taking attacks powers him up way more. And I think he'll actually be, dare I say, exciting in that affiliation.
Yep. See
the extra power, so that's cool. And Spider Foes have some cool, they're quite a good crisis team. So having a bodyguard that can jump in and then he gets powered up for bodyguarding is pretty cool. So I think that's quite a fun place for him.
What about X-Men with the Hop helping him out?
It's okay. I mean, we've got a lot of medium bases now is the thing. Like you've got Beast, Iceman and Angel in X-Men. And obviously he's way tankier than all of those. But they're all 3 threats and he's a 4 threat. So I wasn't sad when I took him in X-Men, and his only job was to, on a B map, just to double move and go and grab a point. And now we have that new extract, Unexpected Wedding Guests, which is a B map extract. So, being able to, because it's 4 extracts, you want to kind of break parity on that. So having a character like Frankenstein Frankenstein's monster, that you can just double move to the back is pretty cool. Is it exciting? No, not really. He's a bit of he's your, if MCP was a meal, Dracula would be like the broccoli.
Yeah.
Just good for you, solid, not very exciting, but he's there.
What about New Mutants?
Yes, fine. Yeah. I mean, bodyguard card is nice because New Mutants don't like getting punched.
Yeah. And also he gets teleported where he needs to be.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. He gets to teleport in, then he's probably within range 2 to then start doing stuff on his turn. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like it.
Well, who pays for the teleport in New Mutants?
The person teleporting.
Yeah. Okay, but he's likely to have 1 at least. Cost 1, right?
Cost 1.
Yeah. All right, maybe. Why not?
Yeah, sure. Why
not? Cool. Okay, I think that wraps up that half of the box.
Yeah.
I think we're going to leave the other half to be part of a Midnight Suns discussion.
Yes.
Because both of those are in the equation, whereas Frankenstein is a bit of an outlier, in my opinion, personal opinion.
Fair enough. Well, we were definitely more excited about Dracula.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of Frank. It's just it just wasn't working somehow.
Yeah, his power economy is odd.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe in Steve Avengers. We didn't talk about Steve Avengers. Steve won Avengers. He can charge round 1. That's cool.
Yeah, that's true. Huh.
That's actually kind of cool because then you
Good
move
or
once,
Steve?
you charge the midline, you're gaining a power from that, which means you're starting turn 2 with 2 power, which means you can do his terrain throw in round 2
Yeah.
for 2 power. It's kind of cool. Maybe there's something there. Maybe there's a little something there.
Maybe.
Power tricks is what this guy needs. Dracula is in desperate need of movement tricks, and Frankenstein's monster is in desperate need of power tricks.
Adam,
so I think
just call him Adam. We're amongst friends.
Adam needs power tricks. So yeah, I think they go in 2 different directions when you're talking about splashing.
All right. Cool. Shall we move on to Sleeve It or Heave It?
Sleeve it or heave it.
Sleeve it or heave it, take it or leave it. Sleeve it or heave it, can't you believe it?
All right, I brought this card along.
Yep.
Shall I read it out?
Yes, please.
Okay. So this card is a very old card. Interestingly, this has got. I would love to track this.
It was found in CP47, Jamie.
Which one's that? Cable and Domino.
Cable and Domino randomly.
That's old. That's an old card. So this is I'd love to track the card's popularity throughout the course of MCP because I don't think anyone played this card until quite recently, and it's a very, very old card. This is Warpath. It's unaffiliated, so you take it anywhere. It's reactive.
Yep.
After an attack that damaged an allied character is resolved, the damaged character may spend 1 power to play this card. This character may advance short towards the attacking character. So basically, it's aggressive.
Yep.
But it can be played on anyone.
Yep.
And the reason I brought it in for today is because this is the perfect Dracula card.
100%.
This should be staple to Dracula every
100%.
goddamn game.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I totally did. And I did too. And it was totally worth it every time.
Yeah, it's horrific. It will fill your opponent's face with dread because they think, I just have to stay out of range 2 of Dracula and then he can't really hit me back. And then you use Warpath, pay 1, move forward, and then hit them back with his ability to hit back on your opponent's turn. It's horrible. It should be taken every game for Dracula, in my opinion. And I played it in X-Men and did a disgusting thing, which was Dracula storm hopped to be within range 2 of Zemo, hit him twice to KO him. And the Howling Commandos didn't like that, took it personally. They shot Dracula in retaliation, which meant he could then use Warpath off that attack, move towards them, and then KO them, which was awful. So he got 3 attacks off in a turn, and it was pretty great. So
that's ideal. That's exactly what you want to have happen. I mean, that shouldn't even be like an unusual thing. That's the thing that should be happening.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, wait, I remember now. The unusual thing was Howling Commandos were supposed to daze him, but I used Xavier's Dream, keep him alive. That was the root part. But hey, ignoring that part, yes, the Warpath is amazing, and it should be on every Dracula game. To be honest.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more. So having Dracula be able to be mobile like that is exactly what we're saying was his problem. So getting rid of that is fantastic. But let's talk about other reasons. Like, where else might you want to use this card?
Yeah, I think this is basically good for anyone that needs that movement. And also, like if you're worried about being displaced, this is good. If you have a character, like a high threat character, usually you're worried about getting thrown away out of the action, you can use Warpath to help bring them back in. Do you play this card much?
Not outside of Dracula, to be honest with you. Cards tend to be at a premium. This is like a generic card. And also, you have to survive the hit first to be able to move forward. And you'd want to be in forward. Fallback is the one that people tend to go because they're trying to get out of trouble. Yeah. This is like you're trying to get into trouble. So you need to survive essentially 2 attacks to be able to then put yourself in a position and do something afterward.
Yeah, for sure.
But the nice thing about him, and this is what's different, he only has to survive 1 attack to be able to do something, right? Because then he plays his card, goes forward, and then he gets to do his reactive attack.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty great. And also that attack can heal himself. So he's in slightly less danger than before. So, yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, I can't complain about this card at all. I think it's a lot of fun, but with the right type of character. So it depends on
and choosing the right moment to do it. Yeah. And Dracula is actually a good card to just practice using this card with. A good character, because he uses it so well. So I think start with using it with Dracula, and then you'll see if you like it, and maybe you can take it elsewhere and try it with different characters.
Have you seen it elsewhere?
Yeah, just generally, I know Thanos Cabal sometimes, because if they get displaced, it's quite sad. Big characters that you want to stay in the action. I could imagine Magneto taking this because he hates getting displaced. So
that's a really good idea. Yeah. So yeah, it'd be good against any kind of character that has action economy issues, isn't it? And is a brawler, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Really good if you hate getting pushed around by Shuri. Because Shuri can only deal 1 damage, which means she's quite likely to deal 1 damage, which means it will, trigger warp off, and she's going to push you away. So you can use this to come back again. So yeah, just make sure you do it on the second attack, not the first, because then she'll just push you away again.
That's a good point. Yeah. Doesn't cost much, so it's something that you could easily do each time.
Just one, yeah.
So, all right. Shall we do? We didn't do we should do it now. We didn't talk about the events coming up.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So we have in the middle. We're recording here at the beginning of March. Middle of April, you and I are both committed to going to the Paris GT now, which is at the Comic-Con. Tickets are still available for it. Remarkably inexpensive for a con.
Yeah, so €35, I think.
Yeah, €35.
Yeah, that's for a Comic-Con ticket and an MCP GT ticket. That's great. Great value, yeah.
Great value. So this is the 12th and 13th of April. Hopefully you can make it there. It's just in the south side of Paris. In May, we have the Mutant Weekender Extinction Agenda. And you just got some new swag in the house.
Oh my God, that's so much swag. Yeah. Asmodee have really hooked us up with some MCP prizes. My God, my house is currently full of plastic. Cool. You really want to come here. We do a really good job at spreading the prizes out so that everybody gets a chance to win cool stuff and valuable stuff and good stuff. So yeah, we're going to be making sure that happens. So you should definitely come. And we have our trademark, let's call it trademark, our trademark format that our co-TO Curtis basically invented / stole from another game system. Where basically, long story short, you play in a big Swiss tournament on the first day, and then on the second day you get put into brackets with other people that had the same result as you on the first day. So if you go on the first day and have a terrible day and go 0-4, it means that you'll be playing against other people that went 0-4 on the second day, which means you have a chance to win that group. And then that group, if you win that group or do well in that group, you get, almost equally as good prizes as the top bracket. So the idea is that it's all to play for, and we want you to just come back and have loads of fun on the second day.
Yep. This is May 17th through the 18th in Darksphere, which is on the west side of London. Do you want to tell them about the bespoke swag that we just kind of put together? Or are we keeping that a secret still?
Oh, that's secret. Come on now.
Secret. All right.
Secret. There's a mini game going on. You should go and check that out. In the event pack, there's a little mini game, which, go read about it. And there's going to be some prizes associated to that.
Okay. June 7th through 8th is the Multiverse of Malmo event. This is another 2-day event in Malmo, Sweden, which takes place in a microbrewery where they also do barbecued food. Lunch is included in your ticket, and it is going to be a fantastic event, sharing the same sort of format that we just talked about, Mutant Weekender. Are you going to that yet?
I think tickets might have run out.
Oh no!
But there's a backup tournament happening in Barcelona that weekend.
Oh, okay.
More details once that's confirmed. But yeah.
All right, good to know. And so that was in June. What am I missing? Oh, I skipped the GT, the London GT. Tell us about that
the
one.
London GT.
Yeah, when is that?
Oh, hang on. I'm looking at the calendar.
I think it's the 24th, 25th of May. Is that right?
Hannah will cut out this silence while I look. Hold on. No, the UK Games Expo GT is on the 31st of May and the 1st of June up in Birmingham. And then there's the London GT on the 28th and 29th of June.
June. Okay, so I did it right. Amazing. So 28th, 29th. Did in the right order.
Too many events going on. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, this is really good. This is a beautiful time to be playing MCP. So that London GT will be taking place in Darksphere again, which is the west side of London. And we'll be playing strictly the AMG rules for it, but we'll have all the official GT swag, which includes the new yellow dice, amongst other things.
And other things as well. Loads of cool stuff.
Yeah.
For sure. And also, I'm just going to throw this in there because I've spoken to a few really lovely people recently who have listened to the podcast, some of which have decided to pick up the game again because of it, which is amazing. It's literally the reason we do this, right? So very, very, very happy about that. But when we say tournament, an event, I think some people expect a certain level of gameplay, maybe because they come from other games, naming no names, 40k, and they expect loads of sweaty and horrible nerds to be there. That is totally not the thing. I mean, it is a tournament, and obviously there are prizes up for grabs. But it's also just a collection of games with loads of people that also like the game, and you'll make loads of friends there as well. It's not like a kind of hyper competitive vibe. It's really nice. So yeah, I think try and look at it as less like a tournament and more just like a get together to play loads of MCP. And yeah, every tournament we've ever been to has been very newbie friendly, and that goes for every event we go to, and every event we shout out on this podcast is very newbie friendly. So you should come along if you're thinking about it.
I know people need to come to these events. Honestly, guys, if you're thinking like intimidated for some reason, you shouldn't be at all. These things are always just fun and mostly about socializing with some gaming in between. I mean, you're just going to feel good about life after you finish going to one of these.
And you feel good about MCP as well. Afterwards, you get the bug. You come back and you're making rosters on the train. Travel up with people if you can. The London group, normally we go up in a big gang. Go and find Norbert. Norbert is the best person to meet at these events for making friends. Because you could just be like, Norbert, I don't know anyone. And he'll immediately introduce you to 10 people who will become your best friends. So you should definitely come. Try not to be intimidated. It is scary going to a big event with loads of people you don't know, but I promise it's only awkward for the first couple hours, and then you find your place and your people and you'll be fine.
Yep, 100%.
Just go up one and go, what about Thor 2, eh? He's annoying. And then you'll make friends. You'll be fine.
All right. To tell people how they can chat with us about this episode.
You can chat with us on our Discord, which is linked below. You can go on there and tell us about all the rules that we got wrong. And you can also find us on Patreon and support us there if you want. We're doing dojo episodes on there where basically we interview winners of events and ask them, how did you do that? And they tell us how their teams go. And those episodes go up on Patreon when they're most relevant for the meta. But if you can't afford to go on the Patreon, that's absolutely fine. The episodes eventually go live on all of our other channels as well, so that everyone can hear them and make the most of that information. So yeah, there you go.
Totally. It's really a great time. All right, Jamie, I think that was a cast. What do you think?
I think so too. You need to do your outro catchphrase that Pat Dunford said you have to do.
The Godfather of the podcast.
There we go. Have you practiced?
Yeah. So here we go. Until next time, cheers and happy gaming.
Somewhere over the rainbow.